when we had our first rally of the gang injunction, they're like, Ruben, you speak. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay. And then I said in the meeting, okay. And then when it was time to do it, and I seen all the people, and I was like, oh shit. And nobody trained me or nothing, and they just threw me out there, and I was like, oh shit, everybody do it out there. So that's the joke. Now every time Mike speaks, that's the first thing he always says. He looks at me too. So that was a little joke, man. But I just want to give a round of applause to all y'all that came out to support. Man, can we get a round of applause for myself? And I just want to talk a little bit about the injunction. How it was like it was kind of like a blessing in disguise because we were able to organize our neighborhood. We were able to do a lot of things that we probably wouldn't have done if they wouldn't have came up with this gang injunction. So the first thing that when they came out with this gang injunction, that we didn't want to just say no to the gang injunction, but what we wanted to say yes to. What are our solutions that we have in our neighborhood that actually make our neighborhood safe? Because everybody wants a safe neighborhood. I want my kids are here, you know, my family still live in the neighborhood. I want my kids to be safe, you know. So by them like labeling us, saying that we're like sociopaths and we're gang members, that we don't want the community safe, like we're domestic terrorists. Because I want my mom to be safe. We all want communities to be safe. Yeah. But the ways that we want our community to be safe is not the same way that they want. Yeah. You know, their version of communities being safe is, oh, let's lock these people up. Let's lock them up, throw away the key, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up. You know, if that solution worked, you know, we would be the safest nation in the world, right? Because we lock up more people than anybody else in the world. So something has to be wrong with that formula, right? Like, but we have solutions here in the neighborhood, and part of our motto is like building community from the ground up, and building community with everyday folks, and because we have solutions, and this is like one of our solutions here is building spaces where community can come together and heal and just build community together, just like this place that we have here. So that's why I say that the gang justice were a blessing in disguise. And our other vision was to do community murals in the neighborhood. This was before this whole like influx of everybody trying to do murals everywhere in Oakland. So this was in 2010 when we started doing murals. We had this vision of doing murals since we were little kids, me and Mikey. And when this gang injunction came, a lot of organizations came out and supported us, like Eastside Arts Alliance. Come on, let's give them a hand for the Eastside. Yeah. So we got connected with Eastside, and we did a mural on 34th. It was like Stop the Gang Injunction mural, and it's like it's really big, and we just told the story of our neighborhood, you know, story from fighting the gang injunction, from colonialism all the way to right now, till we see the future. And it's what's unique about that mural is that it's two different mediums blended together. Like the new school is more like the aerosol, spray paint kind of art, and we blended it in with the old school brush with Xochitl Guerrero, which is a muralist here in Oakland, and we just wanted to mend, you know, the old school with the new school, you know, and we had her do the future. She didn't want to do the future. She wanted us to do the future because we are the future, rather young people. But we wanted her to do the future because we wanted to connect those teachings with our elders. Because oftentimes, you know, there's a generational gap between the young and the old. So we wanted her to do the future because we want to see what her as an elder in the artist community visions the future. And that's what, if any of y'all are around here, you guys go check that out. And so, and another one of our visions that came through the gang injunction was building social enterprise, which is the coffee shop, and having folks from the neighborhood and formerly incarcerated folks working it. So you guys are helping make that vision come true, and I thank y'all a lot.
So thank you, John Russo. Thank you, former Chief Anthony Batts. I want to take a moment too, just to acknowledge all the organizations that were really instrumental in the Stop the Injunctions Coalition. We named them earlier, but for those of you who weren't here, I want to acknowledge Siegel & E Law Firm, National Lawyers Guild, Legal Services for Prisoners with Children and All of Us Are None, East Side Arts Alliance, and last but certainly not least, Critical Resistance, who was really instrumental in a lot of the communications, getting a website going, helping mobilize folks to meetings. So I want to acknowledge each and every one of those organizations and thank you, because this wouldn't have been born without them. And these relationships, these sacred relationships, and this movement that we begin to create in this community wouldn't have happened otherwise. You know, our ancestors always believed in balance, right? So even when things seemed dark and negative, there was a purpose, and that purpose was to allow us to organize, to rebalance. So that's the way I see it, and that's the way I see this art, that's the way I see this vision of Cultura Cura, and I want to invite Melanie and Jesus to share a little bit more about this art exhibit, La Cultura Cura by Dignidad Riverde, and share about some of the work they've been doing, training folks in the community, and some of the homies to put movement out there and link activism with culture.
All right, so I'll talk